Ducks fans, are you ready? You are listening to the Ducks and Pucks podcast. This is the #1 home for Anaheim Ducks talk and analysis. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Mike Walters, along with my co-host, Eddie Richard. And we have a different show for you this week. We were actually going to hold off, but my Valentine's Day got pretty much ruined with all these Ducks trade rumors that came out on that day. My phone was blowing up, and we want to address them on the show. And Eddie also did a really good job of addressing them in an article as well. So for this show, we're going to change the format up a little bit. We're just going to go into the rumors in the beginning. Because that's kind of been the headlines lately. That's what everybody's been talking about on social media and whatnot. And then we'll talk about the Ducks' last couple games. Also, of course, we have to talk about the San Diego Gulls and Zegras and all that craziness going on down there with their awesome start. And a lot of fan questions as well. So let's just cut to the chase. We'll get to the recap of the games in a little bit. Eddie... Valentine's Day Sunday, I did spend it with my better half, but I wake up and I get alerts about Ryan Getz trade rumors. I'm like, really, man? And then there's stuff about Gibson, and I'm losing my mind that day. I'm glad that you wrote the article because I was busy doing stuff, like I said, for my better half. Just general thoughts. What did you think about all this, man? I mean, we were already talking about Henrique on the last show, and then all this stuff comes out. I'm really kind of annoyed by some of it. But what was your initial reaction when the news came in early Sunday morning, and then it just kept blowing up and blowing up and blowing up?
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. I'm sitting there relaxing. I'm actually watching cartoons, Batman Beyond. I don't know why I started watching that. Just having a good day. I see the whole Getzlaff one. All right, well that's just something that's going to keep coming up. We talked about it. Then it starts coming up more. Then all of a sudden I read a Gibson one, and then everyone just starts going nuts. Everyone starts going crazy. I'm like, all right. Then I start blowing you up, Mike. Sorry to bother you. I know it's Valentine's Day, but it's like, okay. And then I see more people talking about it. It's like, all right, I have to get on this. I have to write something about it. I know the fans are going to go nuts and everyone's going to lose their mind. So I went and did a write-up, and now we're here, decided to do a show. I think we owe explanations. I know a lot of people are upset. Don't come bite our heads off. We're just over here, kind of giving you the information on what we had. It was just nuts. If you guys love trade rumors, go figure. The best day to come to it is a Valentine's Day. It was just absolutely nuts. But it was fun. I had a good time looking into them. I like talking about hockey. It gives us more to talk about. It got the Ducks on the map. I know it was a question last show about how can the Ducks be more talked about or viewed like in the media? Well, these trade rumors, especially with Gibson, are really going to get everyone talking about the Ducks and put us on the little radar for a little bit.
Yeah, and I just frustrated. You put out the news, and people are blowing up like all different directions. I mean, people were going nuts on Sunday. It's a slow news day. The Ducks hadn't played in several days. I'm just like, really? Of all days, you guys got to post this stuff today? Like, you couldn't wait till Monday. Like, really? You got to do it on this day? I'm trying, it's hard for me to, relax, for a few hours. I don't know if people truly understand that. Like, my phone gets blown up regularly on different things. Some days less, some days more. And this last Sunday, oh my God, it was going nuts. And I was just like, please make it stop. And I knew it wasn't going to stop because it's just going nuts. And I know you messaging me, that's every day. So, that's always all good, of course. But you're just going nuts, getting tagged on social media posts and then getting a message, what about this and that and that? And I'm just like, oh God, please just stop. Just stop. So... I think the best thing was we have longtime listener Daniel Lowry. He says, how big of a fish should we smack these quote-unquote insiders with? And that's how I felt. Daniel, I love you to death, dude. You followed the show from the beginning. I don't think there's a fish big enough to smack them with. I think we have to take a whale to these rumors because there's some little parts of them that are a little bit true, but the overall main stuff of these is complete garbage. That's just what it is. And I'm sad to say it, but it is. And we'll go into it. I'm not going to talk about Henrique. We brought that up on the last show. Eddie wrote it in the article too. You can go back and look at that. But we'll focus on Getzlaf and Gibson. There's also Sam Bennett too that we're going to talk about. So some other things going on there. But we'll start with Getzlaf because that was the first one that came out over the weekend. Basically, you had a podcast with Jason Gregor and Frank Cervelli. They talked about Getzlaf. They were asking, Gregor was asking, what are you, quote, hearing about Getzlaf? Do you think he would accept a midseason trade? Or is he a guy that wants to wait it out and go for the offseason? And then Cervelli says there's no question that he's going to be in demand, whether it's before the trade deadline or the summer. This is a big man who has a skill set that's unique, and he's a leader who's well respected. He also talks about putting him on the TSN trade bait board. So this part I was fine with. We saw this, and the reason why this made sense to me is because, Eddie, you and I talked about this before the season even started. There were rumors of Getzlaf back then. We said, hey, he's not going to get traded before the season, but the rumors and trade speculation will ramp up during the season as the trade deadline approaches, and that's what's going to happen. He's now going to be on the TSN, trade bait board. Of course, he's going to be talked about, and don't expect these rumors on Getzlaf to stop. There's going to be more and more out there coming. Do I think he will be traded? I think there's a chance at the trade deadline it would happen. I don't think it's a great chance. He's got his no movement clause, and he has to make the decision. He also got his big house over there by the beach in Orange County, which doesn't mean, all by itself doesn't mean a whole lot, but still, it's something to look at. I think that this stuff is still going to be talked about. Obviously, what they're saying is true. His name's going to be out there and everything. So that part, I get it. The part about the Oilers and going to Edmonton, I'm sorry. I don't see that at all. For Getzlaf, the whole thing here is that he's going to have to decide if he wants to go somewhere or not. That's his choice. That's where he's at right now. And I just don't see him going to Edmonton. Edmonton doesn't have much to offer, and they're not going anywhere. It just doesn't make sense to me. So will he be the discussion of trade rumors? Will he be talked about leading up to the trade deadline? Yes. Will he be traded? I give it a big maybe. There's a chance, a small chance it could happen, but that's where I'm at, Eddie. So I don't think it's going to stop, but I just don't for sure see him going to Edmonton.
Me neither. Now, in the OilersNation.com, the one that posted the story, in their defense, they posted this on Saturday, not Valentine's Day, so we can give them a little credit for that, not kind of ruining a lot of people's Valentine's Day. But these rumors are going to keep coming up. If you're tired of them, I'm sorry. I'm tired of him too, but he's a UFA, a player like Getzlaf. Anything he does, he goes and buys balloons at a store one day. Rumors are going to just spark up. It's going to happen. We apologize for it.
Yep.
Our job is just to let you get informed and talk about him, regardless how silly and how it's going to be. That's how it is. So sorry you have to deal with it. I'm saying no. He's not going to be traded. There's no indication that he wants to be traded at all. Maybe the team can get something in return, and they might approach him and ask him if they're going to get a good return for him. But it's just, that's really, really doubtful it's going to happen. Now, for some reason, if he does want to be traded, if he does decide, talks over with his family, he decides that he wants to go and try to get another cup, I respect that. A player like Getzlaf has been in the league for a long time, showed loyalty to the Ducks. He helped us win our first Stanley Cup. I think he deserves that chance if he decides to go that route. I don't think it's going to happen. He's definitely going to be part of the trade bait list. He's going to be talked about again and again and again. It's only going to get worse come trade deadline. If you think it's going to be over then, no. Once the offseason happens, it's going to, once he needs a new contract, things are going to pop up now. Like, he hasn't signed yet. He's going to sign somewhere else. It's just, it's a revolving thing. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to have his jersey retired in Anaheim. He's going to go down as the greatest franchise player in franchise history. So it's just going to be interesting. It's going to throw people in a big old ruckus again. But I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And like I said, if he does decide that he wants to go and try to chase another cup, that's going to be his decision. And we as fans are going to have to respect that because he deserves the right to make that decision. So if you're tired of the Getzlaf rumors, just bear with us. And hopefully they're not as bad. And hopefully the next time these rumors come out, it's not going to be on Valentine's Day or a day where people are trying to relax with their significant others.
Yeah, and to your point, you're right. They did. The Oilers Nation did put out the article on Saturday, And then it blew up on Sunday morning because it was posted in a bunch of different Ducks Facebook groups. And then, of course, I got text messages and alerts and all this other stuff early Sunday morning about, hey, what about this, this, and that? And then I even got more alerts today right before the show on Gibson stuff, which we'll go into in a minute. But I'm with you. Is there a chance that he could be traded? Of course there's a chance. There's always a chance. But it's a very small chance. That's where we're at. We said that before the season started. We said, hey, he's not going to get traded before the season. There could be, something small maybe that could happen during the trade deadline time. Again, it's up to him, but it's a really, really small chance. Another thing that we talked about too, Eddie, before the show was, say one of these Canada teams, even Edmonton, looked at him. Don't forget about the COVID stuff and all the protocols and all that. Are they going to trade for him and make him sit around for 2 weeks? There's all that stuff that's going on too, which is a whole nother topic that we can discuss at length. But that's another issue too, Eddie. So, I mean, is he going to be on that list? Are there going to be rumors? Yes, unfortunately. Are we going to have to address them? Yes, because you guys ask us questions. And honestly, I wasn't even going to bring this up about Getzlaf at all. When I first saw the stuff on Sunday morning, Eddie, I was just like, F me. Like, really? Like, you're bringing this up again? Like, we've already talked about Getzlaf a couple times on this show. Like, just stop. Stop with this nonsense. So, I wasn't really going to bring it up. We actually didn't. I mean, you mentioned it in your article late Sunday night, but that was because of all the other stuff going on. So, all I can tell you is this. It's going to keep coming up. And there's going to be more rumors about more players, especially if the Ducks start doing very poorly. Right now, they're on the border, as we talked about. 4th place, 5th place, maybe a playoff team, maybe not. If things get worse, then I could see the stuff intensifying. And I really see that that's the direction for the team in general, Eddie. Unfortunately, I mean, it's going to make people get excited and talk about stuff. But with Getzlaf, I still say it's a small chance.
No, it's just at this point right now, I think people, like I was mentioning earlier, a few weeks ago, people got all excited when he got scratched, and then someone saw him buying balloons, and then it went off. People making rumors, oh, he's faking it, he's out there partying and buying balloons, oh, he wants to be traded. It's just people going nuts over it. So unfortunately, once we heard the Getzlaf rumors again, we didn't really read that much into it. We just kind of blew him away, and I was let Mike enjoy his Valentine's Day because he's always getting messages for me at all hours of the day. I'm infamous for texting him 3-4 in the morning with some kind of idea or some kind of news I read. So I think he's used to it now. But once the Gibson stuff started popping off, I knew it was going to explode and everyone was in a nut. So I started blowing up Mike, and then other fans started reaching out, which we appreciate that. Like we said, we always love talking hockey. So if you guys reach out to us, it's always fun. I couldn't really get back to a lot of people that reached out to me on Sunday because I was busy researching all this stuff, listening to different podcasts on these rumors, and then writing the article itself. I had some other things going on, Ducks related. We'll talk about that a little later that I was kind of work on too. So it was kind of a busy Sunday. This is one of the things I'm glad I'm single. I didn't have a significant other that would be pissed off at me for just being on my phone and computer all day, getting this information out. But it was fun. It was fun. It got my me writing real quick and got me back in the mix of things. It's been kind of slow at times for me trying to get this season going as fast as it is going already. But we're going to keep hearing about that. So hopefully we can get a little break here and there. Hopefully people don't read into things too much and don't make up certain rumors when you see certain people buying balloons. Balloons are a common thing for parties and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, I appreciate you writing the article on Sunday, too, because I was kind of out of pocket that day. I'm like, okay, cool. The Ducks don't play till Monday. I'll get the game preview out. Be all good. And then stuff comes out. I was just shaking my head. So then, and another point you brought up, too. Yes, if you're out there and you're sending us messages or on social media or text or whatever, don't stop. I do appreciate it. I like the input. It goes nuts, obviously, when things like all come to a head in the 24-hour period, which is kind of what happened this weekend. So, yeah, the Getz off stuff. That happened. We've addressed that before. And then, of course, the Gibson stuff comes out. And I'm just like, now I'm like, really? Okay. So there's the Hockey Now website. They have stuff for each of the different teams. You have Adrian Dater, who covers the Avalanche, who's very, very good, shared an article about some stuff going on with Gibson. He's fine. He's not the issue. The problem is the person that wrote the article is Jimmy Murphy. For those of you that are maybe new listeners or even the longtime listeners that remember, I called Jimmy out on a trade that he said was going to happen with Hampus Lindholm a couple years ago. And some of you may or may not know that when I called him out, because I actually talked to Bob Murray directly about it, and Bob Murray said that he was full of it, he got upset and basically went off on me on social media. A lot of you probably don't know that. I just bring it up because he got all mad. But the thing is he was wrong, right? Where's Hampus Lindholm today? Oh, he's still on the Ducks, right? Yeah, sorry, Jimmy. So anything that guy brings up regarding the Ducks, I don't trust. It just don't. It doesn't make sense. I don't know about, he's over there on the East Coast doing Boston. I don't know what he talks about with the Bruins and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm not going to question him on that stuff. But when it comes to the Ducks, he has a bad track record. And I'm not the only one. There's other people that have called him out too on stuff. And I don't like to do that, but I like to research and figure stuff out. And if someone says a trade's going to happen, then I would damn well like to know about it, especially if it's our team, the Ducks. And he was wrong. And he's wrong here again. So they talked about a quote. They said that they had a source that hinted that the Anaheim Ducks goalie, John Gibson, and his agent, Kurt Overhart, were starting to send smoke signals that they were concerned about the Anaheim Ducks' direction. So that part, I don't think that that's false. I think that that's true. However, it sounds like they took that part and spun it into this false narrative that all of a sudden Gibson was going to go to Pittsburgh because he's from Pittsburgh. Brian Burke is now working for the Penguins, and the Penguins have a goalie problem. And they just spun it all up into this thing, and now all of a sudden, he's going to go to Pittsburgh. There's a big thing with that. And I know in the article he said it's a quote-unquote big if, but I talked to my own source from the Ducks team, and they said that this is complete BS. So for him to say that and spin that, and then also have this article where Eddie has a subscription and can look it up. So some of you, that's the other part of this. You may have clicked on the article and don't understand what was written in it. There's more to it. Hockey now is like The Athletic. You have to pay to go in there and read stuff. So you can't see all of it when you click on it. You get like a little snapshot, which was a problem I had because I told Eddie, I go, what is this guy talking about? I only see 2 paragraphs. And then Eddie has that subscription and is able to see that. But even then, they basically took a little thing and really run with it. And this whole thing about the Ducks, being concerned about their direction of the team and everything, well, that's obvious. Eddie and I have been talking about that since the beginning of the season. All of you out there have been talking about it too. That's not a big surprise. So for them to say, well, him and his agent have been talking about the Ducks and we're not sure how the team's going to do. Yeah, duh. That's like saying the sun's going to come up in the morning. We know that. That's been an issue with this team the whole season. We don't know the identity of this team. We don't know the direction necessarily they're heading. There's a lot of unknowns. We got a lot of young players. The dynamic of this team it's just uncertain. We've talked about that. So it just frustrates me. They took something and twisted it into this, and all of a sudden they said, oh, okay, there's a good chance maybe he goes to Pittsburgh, but it's a big if and everything. And I just feel like it's a huge clickbait scheme, and it just kind of pisses me off because I don't like putting stuff out there unless I honestly think that there's a good amount of truth behind it. And that's where I'm at with this, Eddie. It's just frustrating to me. I think, yes, we've seen Gibson get frustrated. We saw him in the Arizona game get frustrated. We saw him in games before get frustrated last season with the lack of support offensively and whatnot. But I don't know. It just to come out and say that, there's this big connection with all this, like I call it circumstantial evidence with Pittsburgh. I just think it's a bunch of garbage. I mean, that's what I think that this amounts to. I mean, that's all I can really say. It's just frustrating. I don't even know why we're talking about Gibson. Honestly, I think Getzlaf has even more credibility than this, and that's not even a lie.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, we have to discuss. And obviously, Jimmy Murphy did his job if he just wrote that specifically just for clickbait, because we're over here talking about it, discussing it, and it just threw Anaheim Ducks fans into a big frenzy, and I think everyone's talking about it come now. Everyone's just blowing it up and talking about it. So if that was clickbait, he did a really good job. I don't really follow a lot of his work, but I do follow Adrian Dater's work, and I know he's a straight shooter. When he puts something out, usually some credibility, or actually all credibility, all the work he does for the Colorado Avalanche and the information he puts out. So Jimmy Murphy's probably, or not probably, but he is just spinning this into a whole different direction. I'm surprised that he didn't even throw in his article that Gibson in one of his goalie masks has Pittsburgh on it, because that's where he's from, and just saying like, hey, well, Gibson foreshadowing to go to Pittsburgh because he painted Pittsburgh on his mask, or something like that, to throw more spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks, as Murray said years ago. It doesn't make sense for Pittsburgh to actually take on John Gibson, though. Like, yes, I know they're having a really, really big issue in net over there in Pittsburgh, but they seem like they're in the tail end of a championship caliber team, and they're about to be in those rebuilding years, or retooling years, if you want to call that. It's going to take a lot more than just John Gibson to go over there and get them another couple Stanley Cups or whatnot. And the return, if he would be traded over there, would be huge. And I don't think it'd be big enough where the Pittsburgh want to give out their core players, because you best believe a Jake Getzel will be included into that if Gibson's going to go over there. And to answer Maverick 87's question too, it's going to be one of Malkin will be considered, or it's going to be Crosby. And yeah, I know Crosby, you're saying like, oh man, why would you mention Crosby? He's not going anywhere. A different insider was mentioning how he'd be a good fit in Colorado, and he threw all their fans in a big old frenzy about Crosby going to Colorado. Obviously, with Brian Burke and Ron Hextall going over there, everyone's waiting for them to make the next big move to kind of shoot the Penguins in the right direction. Would Gibson going in there be a short-term solution for them and help them trying to get that cup? Absolutely. But the long-term, it does not make sense. And then they'd have to give up a lot of their core players to the Ducks to actually get that goal. And then they're back to square one, where they have elite goaltending, but they don't have those core players that can really produce those offensive numbers that they need to win the Stanley Cup. This is just... I don't know. I think the person that wrote it did its job. He's getting a lot of, I guess, clicks, and he's getting a lot of recognition for it, because, like I said, we're over here talking about it. But it's not going to happen. If it did happen, I think this would project and kind of traject the Ducks into the right direction, and to kind of like admitting that they're in a rebuilding phase and kind of accelerate that. Because you best believe if Gibson's available, and he truly is, and he submits that 10-team list to be traded, you're going to have a lot of teams calling, a lot of teams that want that elite caliber goalie at a reasonable cap hit. Yeah, maybe the term's a little long, but for Gibson, the way he's playing, the way he's putting the Ducks on a playoff verge right now, just with his play, yes, he's going to be a lot of suitors and callers. I'm sure even if he's not available and they make it known that Gibson is not available, you'll still get calls, just hoping that they can pry Gibson away from the Ducks. Is it going to be Pittsburgh? That's going to be very, very slim. And no, I doubt it's going to be Pittsburgh if that actually comes to it. You go look at teams like Edmonton that would love an elite goaltender to go with their elite players that they have. Yeah, Mike Smith is playing pretty decent over there, but he's 38 years old, so I don't know how long he can play that and kind of guide them. You have teams like Colorado that has that question of Grubauer. Francouz is injured, so they have that question of like, can Grubauer hold the team, can stay healthy enough to get the team a Stanley Cup? They're in their win now mode, and they have the firepower to do it. They just need that elite goaltending. But I want to say I can see the Ducks trading Wild Wing or giving away their firstborn before they even trade Gibson. So I think we could just sweep this under the rug as a rumor. Everyone can calm down. I think, honestly, I think Getzlaf has a better chance of leaving the Ducks than Gibson does at this point.
Yeah, that's where I'm at on both these rumors. I mean, you got to look at Pittsburgh too and look at their salary cap. They have no room. They're already got 3 players on the LTIR. They're using $1 million of that already per cap friendly. They would have to trade some kind of superstar like you talked about. I mean, and we have people ask, as you mentioned about Malkin and Crosby, which I don't see those happening. But you're talking about that, a Gunsel type person. Zucker they just recently got. All these guys most of them have no trade or no movement clauses, so there's that issue. There's not a lot of prospects coming up in the Pittsburgh situation that's going to make them do this. It doesn't make sense. You're just taking a bunch of little loose facts and throwing them together and going, oh, well, this would be a good fit. No. It's not going to happen. Gibson's not going to Pittsburgh. I'm putting my foot down on this one. It's really not going to happen. Now, will he get traded later on or something like that down the road in a couple years from now? Who knows? Maybe. But as far as this stuff right now, I don't see it. The Ducks' issue is not in net. We've talked about this over and over this year, that their defense has been great. Their penalty kill's been great. Gibson has been great. Yes, he's had, here and there he's messed up a little bit. But, they're fine there. And yes, you've got Lucas Dosto in the wings, but you don't want to rush him. He could be the future down the road, obviously, and maybe compete against Gibson. But as of right now, I just don't see this happening. Pittsburgh's got nothing to offer. They have no cap space, no assets, nothing. And they're not going to trade away big-name players. I just think this is a crap story. I hate to say that, but that's where it is, especially considering the source. So, that's it. I would just sweep this under the rug. I wouldn't really pay attention to this. The Getz ones are going to continue, obviously. You have anything else to add about this Gibson one, Eddie, before we move on to Sam Bennett, which actually seems a little bit more viable, but anything else on Gibson?
Yogi Stogie on Instagram mentioned, too, if Gibson does get traded, who takes over the net? We have to think about that, too. Are you going to put all that responsibility on Ryan Miller? He's a great backup, but that's going to be too much responsibility and pressure to put on a goaltender like that. And Dostal, he's doing great in San Diego, and you don't want to rush his development. And we have a future star in the making. You just let him settle and play and get his confidence in San Diego, and then when he's ready, he can make that jump to the NHL. That's pretty much it on this. I think we can just close the chapter on this Gibson rumor. I know it's going to be floating around. I hope we broke it down for you. I think I have a better chance of Gibson coming to my door right now, giving me a signed jersey and having a beer with me than him getting traded to Pittsburgh. So we can just close that chapter.
Yeah, I agree. So now let's talk about the Ducks trying to improve this team with other type trade stuff. Elliot Freeman did bring up Sam Bennett as an option. He hasn't, played great so far this year. He's got a couple goals in 14 games. He's been a healthy scratch. He's also been the subject of some rumors with Calgary. What do you think? I mean, the Ducks are still trying to look at players. We've talked about some on the shows here and there. Is this one that maybe the Ducks try to pursue?
They checked up on him, and they're doing their jobs. Trying to find a scoring winger that can produce offense, which is kind of good. It's good on Murray's part, being proactive on that. I just can't really see the Ducks just taking a chance on the former 4th overall pick in 2014. It was believed he requested a trade because he wants a larger role. Well, he's got the larger role right now. They've been having him up with the big line. He scored a goal after he was a healthy scratch. He did score a goal, so hopefully... I'm sure the Flames don't want to get rid of him, and they want to keep him, and I'm pretty sure he wants to stay, and especially if he has that larger role, and he could just get that chemistry and keep producing for them, I think it'd be a good fit. It's something to keep an eye on, though, if he does become, I guess, officially available. The Ducks did check in, but I can't see a Sam Bennett kind of player coming in and really turning around the offense, just like we thought Kevin Shattenkirk was going to do. He's in the final year of his 2-year deal worth $5.1 million. He becomes a restricted free agent. So with me, I don't really like players and their contract year, because they always seem to play a little bit better than they normally would. But this is something I guess you fans can be happy with Brian or Bob Murray actually trying to do something and make the Ducks a little better. But I can't see just the Sam Bennett thing happening with the Ducks either. And I really can't see him just coming in and just kind of spinning the Ducks around and getting them more offensive numbers up.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I would give a good pass on this. I just don't think that it's going to be worthwhile for the Ducks. I mean, it's he's doing this thing. He's getting more time, like you said, and whatnot up there now. But yeah, I don't know if they would. I mean, we need something better than that. We need something with more push, I guess you could say. We talked about The Ducks checked in on Tony D'Angelo too. We mentioned that on the other show last time around. So if you want to listen to that, we can go back and talk about that, which we said was another hard pass. So I think the biggest thing, like you said, Eddie, is that Murray is out there and trying. He's looking at different things. Not saying he's picking the right things, but that's where the Ducks are at. They're still trying to add to the offense, which has been an issue. And we'll check in now. We'll talk about some of these games, basically what's going on with the Gulls. The Zegras thing, you guys are all going nuts about that. We'll dive into that. We also have some good news about our organization as a whole as well. So the Ducks have had issues scoring, right? And they decided to play 2 games in Vegas where they actually scored a lot of goals in the first game against Vegas. They got down by a lot. They were down 4-1 in this game. We did see them rally back. Troy Terry getting a goal. Henrique, Getzloff, Ducks rallying, thinking this game's going to overtime. They end up losing this one 5-4. Sadly, Vegas gets a late goal. And then the Ducks also played them again, and they played an even better game the second game around and ended up beating the Golden Knights 1-0. No goals at all in that game for them. So I thought overall the Ducks played well in these 2 games, Eddie. The first game against the Knights, it just was kind of shaky in that start there, unfortunately, and they got behind. But after that, they kind of got back into it in the second period. A couple things didn't go their way, obviously, and they were able to take care of them in the second game. So the way the Ducks are playing is still kind of hanging on to that 4th, 5th place, as we talked about. But I didn't think they played that terrible overall in these 2 games. Like I said, a poor start in the first game, but after that, I thought the Ducks played pretty well in these 2 games.
Yeah, that first game, when they went down real quick, I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games. Like, I'm going to go pour myself a glass of apple juice that looks like beer since I'm not drinking for a couple more months now. I was like, man, but then, they really refused to back down. They showed a lot of fight and will to get back in the game, and I liked seeing that. Like, they were seeing red and just went in attack mode, and literally they were really seeing red because the Knights wore those red jerseys. It's just unfortunate that White Cloud finds a great opportunity and wins it for them. That second game was just a goaltending battle. Flower and Gibson refused to let in more goals than that. They just, I guess, both of them really wanted the shutout, and it was the Ducks and Comtois. I would get the better of them. It's finally good to beat Vegas and get that win. Hopefully, the next time we face Vegas, we can build from that and get another win.
Yeah, I mean, that team has always had the Ducks number. So for them to beat them, I would say on the road, but it doesn't really matter. There's no fans, it seems like, for these games. So when you're talking about road or home games,
well, it's still
whatever,
Vegas,
but,
though. I mean,
right? They still beat them.
No, I'm talking about the
road.
city of Las Vegas. You just can't go there and just stay in your room all day. Put on a little fake mustache and go have a beer somewhere. I don't know.
And that is true, because yours truly has been there recently. So you are able to go and do some stuff, within limited capacity, but you are able to do some things. So, that is a good point. But, no fans and whatnot. They played the 2 games. I saw Deloria getting another good fight, Eddie, so that was good. I know you were excited about that.
Just, man, those 2 heavyweights, those 2 guys I wouldn't fight. I'd back down really quick. You can take my girl's hand. You can steal my PS5. I don't know. You can take whatever you want. I'm not going to fight those guys. They're 2 big tough guys. And it was just funny. Reeves told the refs to back off, and that's the first time I've seen the refs jump back real fast. Usually they're so quick to prematurely jump into fights and break them up. She shook his head no, and they just skated backwards. Smart for them. I think that was the best decision and best call the refs made all season.
Yeah, that was a hilarious moment in that fight too. It was like, oh, they're gonna go at it. Okay, they're going. Oh, they're gonna stop. Oh, no. They're gonna let them keep going. I thought that was hilarious. So Delorier always bringing the fists. So that was exciting to see, even though they lost that game. But you know what? He got the Ducks back up and going in that game. I really thought we were gonna at least get a point in that one. And some good stuff. Terry had some points in that game. Getzloff finally got his first goal. Hutton, who's been playing very well, had his first point as a Duck. And overall the Ducks haven't been playing too bad. They've been hanging in there in that playoff type, fringe team as we talked about. And then they ended up playing the Sharks just for one game. There was some rescheduling that went on. They were going to play them twice, but they only played them once. We'll mention some of that a little bit later. But they started out this game against the Sharks very well. It looked good. They did get some good bounces in this game for their goals, but they had a bad second period. They couldn't recover, and unfortunately, they lost this one 3-2, Eddie. But I think the funny story in this game, we talked about it before recording, is that the Ducks didn't really score any goals in this game.
Oh, no, they all went off the San Jose Sharks players. The San Jose Sharks of Arizona, I should say. This is their only second game actually playing in San Jose because they had to start off the season playing in Arizona due to the COVID restrictions over there where they're from. I hate losing to the teams like the Sharks, the Kings, or even the Wild because you guys know my hatred toward the Wild. I think they played okay. I think people think they played a little bit better than they did because the Ducks did score those 2 goals, which they didn't really score those 2 goals. They were just off the San Jose Sharks players. It's really unfortunate loss for the Ducks, and I really thought they would rally and get that tying goal and at least get a point, go to overtime and win the game. Unfortunately, they couldn't. The Sharks had down with 3 or 4 defensemen too, and they had some kind of rookies and players that usually weren't in their lineup play in the back end. And that still just didn't go the Ducks' way. So that just really frustrating to see. We lose to the Sharks. It just, just kind of irritates me thinking about it again. But you know what? Hopefully they got some learning from this game and they can just beat the Sharks next time, hopefully.
Yeah, another thing that came up in that game too was Raquel almost scored. He's had a rough time this season. We had John Hewitt II asked us about the Gibson rumors, which obviously we talked about, but he also said, what's up with Raquel and his production? Why hasn't it been there? And man, I almost want to go back to Solani and the ketchup bottle here. I feel like if Raquel can just get a goal here or there, that he can get going. I mean, he's had it rough lately. Silverberg's had it rough lately. We got some of you asking questions about that too, but he was really close in this game, Eddie. He almost tied it up, and scored in the third period and came up short. What's your take on, the Ducks, obviously the offensive struggles as we've talked about throughout the season, but with Raquel specifically?
He's a goal scorer. He knows how to put the puck in the back of the net. He's just having a slump. I don't know what's going on. I think the pressure of it can be a weighing factor. He has to get some of those bounces. He has to get some of those dirty goals. He has to get in the dirty areas, get in front of that net, and kind of force the opportunity and create those chances. Yeah, he has his first goal of the season. He needs to get that second, third, and the rest will follow. He needs to just play a little bit looser and not let that weigh him down. I know, trust me, I've been an athlete all my life. I played various sports in high school and college, and I know all about slumps, and that's the worst thing you can do is just get out of a slump. But what helps me the most, and I'm sure it helps a lot of these athletes, listening to them after break their slumps, how they talk about it, is they just stop caring and stop letting it weigh them down. They go out there and just try to have some fun. Just try to just be in the right place at the right time. Try to create other opportunities and just play the game, and the rest will follow. He scored 20 goals before. He's had back-to-back 30-goal seasons. He knows how to score. It's just he needs to just find that groove again, and like I said, get into those different areas, change up his game, and like I said, crash the net. You can never go wrong in a hockey player, no matter what level you play at, in crashing the net, keeping your stick down and getting in front of that net, because eventually that puck's going to get to you. Eventually that puck's going to go off you. Ask Lundestrom, his first NHL goal went off him trying to jump away from the shot, and it went off him and scored. So I really hope he regains that form. I know there was, I think I didn't really read into it because there's just people just speculating about Raquel and Toronto and just how it was weird about that. And that's not even worth really going into because it wasn't really anything credible. But it's 7 points in 16 games so far. He just has to play a little loose, have some fun, and not worry about scoring so much. Just worry about just going out there and playing the game, and all that will come, especially to him. He knows how to put those productions up. He knows how to put those goals up. So just go out there and, like I said, go and have fun, and the rest will follow.
And I think that's kind of a theme for this team this season. We had other fan questions about Raquel too. We had Julio Sanchez. He asked on Facebook about Silverberg and Raquel. maybe trading them away. We had Chris Ramirez. He said, can we talk about Silverberg? He thinks it's time to trade him. He's a plus minus of -7. He's got 7 goals, a couple one-timers. Good defensively, but his offense hasn't been there as much, and his passing as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now as far as these guys and how they're performing or not performing in terms of goals and whatnot. And I'm with you there too. I think a lot of this problem with this team, and we'll talk a little bit about it too. George wrote a really good article about some of these players and how they did in San Diego and not doing as well in Anaheim. Additionally, but in terms of Raquel and Silverberg, I don't know about these trade ideas. I think part of the problem we talked about is they're not performing at necessarily the height of their game right now. So that's kind of an issue. I think the other part of it is chemistry, Eddie. You remember when we had Kessler, who you all know now is retired basically because of his hip issues. But you knew him and Silverberg, Cogano, they were on a line, and that was it. And you put them together, and they were going to do what they were going to do. They shut down the opponent's power play. They got timely goals, and that's what happened. And I think with this team, that's part of the problem is, and I don't think it's necessarily Dallas Aikens. George talked about Murray being part of the issue. He talked about the skating and skills coach as well being part of the issue, which I see more of that being a concern as well. With these guys trying to score and get things done this season. But I don't feel like there's any consistency with the forward lines. I think that Aikens has these lines together. People are bouncing in and out of the lineup. We've got the COVID stuff with the taxi squad, which drives me nuts, by the way, because I'm trying to keep you guys updated on who gets moved around when, and that stuff just changes like crazy between all the websites and who says what. But I think there's some of that going on. So I think there's a lot of shuffling. I think they're trying to figure out who works where. And honestly, you look at this team right now, you can't really say there's a set lineup for this team. Defensively, there hasn't been any changes, right? There's not much to talk about. The 6 forwards have been in, the 6 defensemen have been in there. Manson's been out, but they've been holding their own. Obviously, there's nothing to talk about with Gibson. That part's all fine. But when it comes to the offense, they keep changing the forwards. Some are going to taxi squad. Some are going in. Some are healthy scratches. And they're trying to figure this out. And I just think that they haven't nailed it down yet to all 4 of the lines. The 4th line kind of is what it is. You've got Grant on there. Rowney, Deloria, those types are on that line. But as far as lines 1, 2, and 3, I think that's the problem, Eddie. There's no set lineup at any given night and no set chemistry between those, because we've seen a lot of changes now. We've even seen Henrique on the wing spot. A lot of crazy stuff going on. So, in terms of the issues with Silverberg and Raquel, I agree. They're not performing to where they're at. Will they get traded? I don't think so. A lot of it to me, Eddie, is just getting these guys together, figuring out the top 3 lines. Even if you can get 1 or 2 lines together, and then you can kind of play around with the other ones, that would help this team out. But right now, there's nothing when it comes to the forwards. You don't know who should be with who and who's going to work well in terms of the offense.
Yeah, you know what? Just to point out too, Mike, you do a really good job on getting everyone informed on the taxi squad transactions, because that's just, it changes every minute. And I'm real vigilant on news that comes up, so I can post it too. But this half of them I don't even see it, and I just see you post. I'm like, oh, this happened. Then I go and look in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you do a really good job on that. I don't know how you have time to do all that, especially with your full-time real job too. But I have to commend you on that. As far as trading everyone, like trading Silverberg, Raquel, I don't see that being a solution right now for this team. I think, and I'll say it again, like I've said the last 20 shows in a row, that's not going to help the identity of this team, because we don't know what direction we're really going to right now. So it's just going to be, we'll trade a player for another player, and we're going to be in the same situation. And we're even talking about trading that player. It's just not going to happen. Just off the top of my head right now, when you were talking, Mike, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. With the new COVID restrictions, players really can't be going out with each other. Do you think that the players not having that chemistry off the ice is kind of having an effect on them on the ice without getting that chemistry. You've seen Washington with Ovechkin and those group of Russians that got dinged for being in a hotel having beers together. But now it's like it seems like these players aren't having that, I guess, that off ice chemistry to go out or just hang out and maybe go have some beers, maybe work out together. I don't know if that's kind of affecting them and their performance on the ice as far as chemistry. Because obviously, if you're watching these games, you can see the lack of chemistry from them. You don't really see that gel. Yeah, some plays they're working well together, but you don't see that 100%. Like, you can just feel it. Like, okay, these guys work together. They click together. Keep them together. And the Lions are just... You're just trying to shuffle them too much. You might as well just start throwing some of our defense on the top line, left wing, or something.
It's interesting you bring that up because for those of you that know Solani and Korea, right? They were roommates, right? And they developed that chemistry, and we saw that all the time, right? They were out there with Ruchin, and they got their stuff done. Like I said, Kessler, Cogdano, Silverberg. They were out there. We always knew that they were going to be that line. Not a problem. Not an issue. And I agree with you. I think, one, the Ducks haven't played in forever. I think a lot of people forget about that, right? There's a handful of teams, not a lot, but, a couple of the teams didn't, participate in that playoff crazy thing that they came up with for last season. So that didn't help the team. And you got a lot of moving parts in here. A lot of young guys trying to fit into the system. You lost some people, Patrick Eves, Ryan Kessler, people that were helping out doing a lot of things. So I think that could be part of it, not being able to bond off ice, so to speak, because you can't do a lot of stuff right now, depending on what state you're in. I don't know. We can go off on that for a while, but you just don't. You're not able basically to do your normal daily life right now. We're all in that position. And I do think there is something to be said for that, because the one untangible thing is chemistry. We've talked about it. You can sit here and talk about plus or minus all day long. You can throw out your fancy puck possession stats all day long and do all that stuff, which, don't get me wrong, those are all important. Absolutely. But if the players on that line don't gel together, then it's not going to work. And I think that's the issue. In terms of the forwards, like I said, the Ducks defense is perfect. They're fine. They're I'm not going to say they're 100% great, but they're limiting goals. They've been great on the penalty kill, and they're doing fine. So, that is something. It's interesting you bring it up. It's a different angle. But it is something to consider because they aren't able to, go out and socialize and do all the stuff that they normally do. I'm not saying it gives a lot of weight to it, but it's definitely something to consider. So the only other part, really, to this, as we've talked about, besides all this, is, okay, let's bring up people. Let's fix this. And we've talked about this. We talked about Zegras before with the Gulls. We talked about Drysdale, how well he's doing. We talked about Dostal, and he's killing it. These guys are all killing it at San Diego right now. Some of you mentioned, I've seen on social media, you're like, I'm more excited to watch the Gulls right now, right? Because they're 5-0-0. They're undefeated. They're killing it right now. And that's been a big other debate about this is, okay, how do we get this team going? If it's the chemistry, the line, certain guys aren't scoring, doing trades, things like that. We've touched on all that stuff on this show and the past shows. So then, should we bring up players? That's been the latest big debate. That was what George's article was about, too. He was concerned, hey, you bring up Zegras. This team is not a championship team. We all know that. If you think they're a championship team, really, I got a bridge to sell you in Florida that goes to Cuba, okay? Really, this team is not a championship team. Like we've said, we love our Ducks, but we're realists, okay? They're not playing terrible. They're in the hunt, right? But the other part of this equation is, and there's some debate, is do you bring up players from the minors and rush them? And that's what a lot of people talked about. So we put out the poll on Twitter. You guys are still doing it as we're talking on the show. I said about Zegras, bring him up, don't bring him up. And it was 2-1 to bring him up. Just over 60% say let him play. And Eddie and I talked about it on the other ones. We said bring him up for some of the games. Don't just bring him up there and play him nonstop. That was what we talked about. Drysdale is also killing it right now, leading the defense in the AHL. Dostal's just destroying it too. 1.75 goals against and 9.56 save percentage. Mind-blowing. They're doing awesome. Then there's others of you that are like, look, let them stay down there. Let them dominate. Let the Gulls go for the Calder Trophy like we talked about in the last show. And I get that part too. So the Ducks are in a real tough spot right here. I feel like they're a team that can make the playoffs, as Eddie and I have said. We said that at the beginning of the season. We said that they could make that fourth spot, but they're not going to contend. So what do? You try and make some trades and fix this? You bring up some young players? Or do you just let it ride and see how this team goes from here on out and what happens this season and just kind of let it play out? For me, I would like to see some of the young guys in Anaheim, but on a limited basis. That's what we've talked about. I don't want them up there all the time, 24/7, just for this team that's barely going to make the playoffs. To me, that's not worth it. So that's my take right now. I do think if the Ducks do make some trades, not Gibson, hello, but if they're looking out there to add some offense that way, I wouldn't be upset with that. I think that's a good thing to do, is to try to bring in someone that can score and add a little bit more of a punch. We're also missing Sonny Milano. No one's talked about that lately. He's been skating. Hopefully we get him back. He was one of the ones I really liked from last season. Maybe he can add a little bit back to that. But as far as this team's at, Eddie, they're in a real pickle, trying to figure out, how to proceed the rest of the season. Do you keep all these players down and the goals and let them keep dominating like they are, or do you bring them up and try and help this team now, which is a team that's, as of right now, they're not a championship team.
No. The thing with Zegras too is, I think he's playing great in San Diego, and I do want to see him get some games with the Ducks. I think that if he comes up, it's going to be really hard for the Ducks to set him back down. I think he's going to come up. He's going to instantly. He's not going to throw this team into a contender and have them dangerous, but he's going to start putting up some consistent numbers. I like his play. I like his swagger, his mojo. I'll say that word because I just watched Austin Powers, but he just has it, and it's just the more I watch this kid, the more I start liking him even more. And I could see him making an impact and being that superstar player in the near future. Now, George did a great job with the article. He a lot of debate going on in it right now, and yeah, I do want the Gulls to get that that championship, and I do want him to come and kind of just play for that Calder, that best rookie of the year for the NHL. But I mean, if he's really proving that he could just, I guess he's better than the AHL, then why keep him down there? Yeah, the only issue is with the Ducks and what's going on with their organization. And do we really want to put him in that toxic environment? Is that going to affect his play? I think a player like him, though, I think he has just too much of that competitive edge. I think he's the kind of player that wants to go out there and be the best for himself, but be the best for his team, too. And it's just I'm kind of hit and miss on this because I see the pros and the cons, which there's more pros than the cons. I just don't want to do anything to kind of draw back this development from this player. We have something special. We have a future superstar that Ducks desperately need, and I feel like a father just trying to protect my son or something. I don't want to see him start getting these bad, not situations, but like bad habits from some of the Ducks players, or letting some of their slump kind of just go in with and kind of just rub off on him. I'm saying, though, I really want to see what he can do at the NHL level. And I think if he gets called up, it's going to be extremely hard. And it's not going to be justifiable to send him back down. So I think he'll do a great job. Dostal, I think, is doing well. We have Gibson. We have Miller. There's no use to rush him in. Yeah, bring him up to the taxi squad. Let him get some practice with like true NHLers instead of just the AHL. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's great. Drysdale's playing well. I think he needs that time in the AHL, another year of seasoning before he's ready to make that full jump and to be a consistent full-time NHLer. But Zegras is going to be one that's going to have the fan base split. People are there's no gray area. Either you want him up or you want to keep him down. There's no it's not going to be that easy for fans to decide. But I don't know. The more I watch, and I actually got that subscription too. So I'd say just call him up and see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, the movement's gone crazy. You had Solani, right? He posted, why is this guy, not in the NHL, right, on his Instagram after that shootout goal that Zegras had. And then you had Kevin Weeks talking about the Free Z movement, which we ended up making a t-shirt, by the way. If you want to check it out, it's on tpnhockey.com. Shout out to Ronald Ray, who's been doing a fantastic job, by the way, for us. He's been working on different logo ideas. He's been doing these awesome wallpapers that he's been posting on social media as well. So we still made the shirt anyways, whether he comes up or not. You can check it out, like I said, tpnhockey.com. But it's kind of crazy, Eddie. I mean, you have Solani, Kevin Weeks, and all these people now chiming in. I mean, there's a lot of people, big name people weighing in on this.
Yeah, and I don't know what Murray's doing. So I don't know. He's just watching. Maybe he's watching cartoons too. Like Batman Beyond's been addicting for me. Maybe he's on there, but yeah, he can't ignore the fact that you have obviously Solani. When he talks, you're gonna listen. Like definitely Ducks and Jets fans will listen. I think the hockey world listens when he says something. Then you have Kevin Weeks joking about it. I'll go ahead and play a quick clip of his segment on NHL Network where he talks about this Free Z movement. So give me 1 second to play.
What are we doing? Come on.
I don't know.
Come on, Anaheim. Don't play games now.
Yeah.
Get this Free Z.
Yeah.
Free Z, Gris. Free him.
Oh, you're starting a movement?
I'm starting a movement. Why? Hey, listen, Damo, I've been saying here on our desk too. Why is this guy not in the lineup? Like he has to get acclimated to playing pro? What acclimation?
I don't know.
I talked to 3 people in Anaheim the last few days. He shredded up the first 2 games in the American League.
Yep.
No calling in the American League, but that's cool. You want to give him a little taste?
Yeah.
Get him a little assimilated. He looks pretty assimilated now.
Yeah.
Even the AHL, the AHL just had on their Twitter account. They just tweeted something about him, I think yesterday. And I even said on Twitter, get him up, Ducks, hello.
Right.
Get him up there. Like, your team is in a position where you can have him there now, gaining NHL experience in what's a truncated season, we know, based on the schedule. If it was me, I'd have him up there last week. Since World Junior, you're on the team, kid.
Yeah.
As long as he came in.
Took the private jet to train.
Totally.
We all thought. And then all of a sudden,
Exactly.
the jet went a little bit further south to San Diego.
And you have him.
See, if Kevin Weeks is saying it, Solani's saying it, if a lot of us watching these games, and we can see that he's ready for that next level, at least to get a taste of it, let's just bring him up and see what we can do. Or let's bring Kevin Weeks and replace him with Bob Murray as GM. We can do that too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these poll questions, I laugh because we put them out too, and man, it's like this whole thing about Gibson and Getz and trading this and that, and then people are like, let's trade Murray. Let's trade Murray. I get a lot of that in there too. So I'm with you. I mean, at least just, even if it's a couple games, if he comes up and he bombs. But I don't see him bombing.
Oh, no, me either. Right? He just, like I said, he has that style that we desperately need up here in Anaheim. Not even up here, just a few miles down the road in Anaheim. Because I forgot they were playing in Irvine. They're not in San Diego. So, we'll see what happens. We have these shirts that we made up. We're sending our first 2 that we're making. We're sending them to someone that really liked the shirts and that wanted them. So be sure to check that out when he hopefully posts a picture of himself with the shirt. Obviously, if you're not getting at what I'm hinting, just kind of really use your imagination on who the shirt's about, and kind of get into your imagination who wants those shirts and who we're going to print them out first for. So if you're not getting my drift, you guys can message us and we'll kind of break it down more for you.
Yeah, we try to get our shirts approved now by the players, like our Delorier shirt. But anyway, so keep a lookout on that, tpnhockey.com. It's up there, the Free Z shirt. You can check it out. A couple other little just housekeeping things that came up. The Ducks did announce that they rescheduled some of their games. They had the March 16th game against Arizona. That's now going to be on the 20th of March. Then they had the 27th of March against St. Louis. That's going to be the 28th. And the 31st against Colorado is going to be pushed up to March 16th. So just look for that. The Ducks announced that. Just keep track of the schedule. Some things are changing because obviously the world's crazy right now, as we said. So with that, though, we have some good news. We have a new sponsor. I'm proud to say that Mercury Insurance has joined us, and they're doing a Superfan promo. If you haven't noticed, they've had some of the commercials on during the games. They actually reached out to us, and they gave us some items, a jersey and a puck, that we're going to be giving away to you, the listeners, on our show. We'll announce those contests probably in another show, how that's going to unfold. But you can also win stuff from Mercury Insurance. They're having this contest through March 15th. You can go on social media and post a photo of yourself and use the hashtag Mercury Ducks Superfan to show your love for the Ducks. You can also go on their website, mercuryinsurance.com/ducks, and send a photo or video. So some pretty cool stuff, Eddie. You know, we've been looking for other sponsors and whatnot, but for them to reach out to us, it's pretty exciting. And we still have other free stuff we're going to give away here and there and whatnot, but we're really happy to partner with Mercury Insurance, help promote their Superfan thing. You got about a month to do that and give away some good stuff to all our favorite listeners.
Thank you very much, Mercury Insurance. It's an honor to have you partner up with us as a sponsor. It's great. So I guess I can resign from Ducks and Pucks so I can be part of this thing and hopefully win some free jerseys and stuff like that. Sorry, Mike, but I want to get a free jersey and a puck or something. But I don't know, Mike. Like since we're not going to games, which is new to us now, and how have you been showing kind of your fandom and your I guess outside the box way to support the Ducks? Like for example, like myself, I'm not really that. I'm creative. I just don't know how to execute things that much. But for my workout stuff, because I've been going to the gym consistently for like I'm a gym rat 6 days a week now. On my wrist wraps, I bought some Ducks patches, Mighty Ducks patches, and I kind of just ironed them on. So I have custom wrist wraps that have like the Mighty Ducks logo. Since I'm always at the gym and usually watching the games at the gym, sometimes I figure I can just bring my fandom there and kind of let everyone know, hey, I'm a Ducks fan. Feel sorry for me or give me a high five.
No, and I saw you post that photo, and I thought that was pretty cool. For me, I posted before. People know I have my Ducks flag. So on game day, I put it out there in front of my house, and then on non-game days, I take it down. It's kind of like a little ritual. I rotate it with the U.S. flag back and forth. That's what I do at home. Obviously, I have my Ducks and Pucks face mask that I wear when I go out. You can also get that at tpnhockey.com. You can also join patreon.com/ducksandpucks. We give away stuff on there as well if you want to subscribe to that. And I wear I have a Ducks shirt that I wear. It's kind of unique. I forget who makes it, but it's like almost like a workout, kind of like an Under Armour type shirt. But I wear that when they're playing their game. I'll have a couple computers set up at home. I recently was fortunate to get a newer computer. I hadn't had one in probably about 10 years. That's just kind of the way it goes. You try to make little steps here and there, fortunately. But I bust out. I have 2 computers going sometimes, plus the phone and whatnot. And the funny thing is on my new computer that I finally got, like I said, I hadn't had one in almost 10 years. I have a picture of Solani and Korea in the Wild Wing jersey as the background. And so I like to do that and get amped up. When I go to work, I wear my Ducks hat. Everybody knows I'm a big Ducks fan and whatnot. So I just, those are the little things I could do. I am really bummed though, Eddie. I was talking to my other half and we were talking about it's not going to games. It's just so frustrating. I miss seeing everybody and hanging out. We have our little spot that we hang out on the 400 level. We joke my seat is number 1, but the number on there is number 8. We crack up about that. I miss seeing people like Jen. And we hang out and have good time, and other people that sit around us too that we all know, and we hang out, and it's just fun. So. This contest with Mercury Insurance should be good. I'm really curious to see what people do. I guess somebody had wedding shoes that were Ducks themed. I thought that was pretty creative. So if you have something interesting like that, post the stuff on social media. Use that hashtag. Go to mercuryinsurance.com/ducks. Check that out as well. One thing I guess it was interesting. We mentioned this before. We recorded and talked about it. But the Ducks with the Wild Wing jersey. I thought it was kind of interesting, Eddie. The Ducks have played the Kings and they had their jersey, but the Ducks aren't really showing the Wild Wing jersey this season. It looks like they're only going to play with 2 games. So that's one thing that kind of bummed me out. I would love it because I got that jersey. We gave one away. I'd love to wear it and go to one of the games and hang out.
Yeah, they were only scheduled to wear it twice, which was kind of odd. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if the players don't want to wear it more than that, or if the coach, like, they're pulling a St. Louis thing a few years ago when they didn't want to wear those god awful Blues jerseys, those alternate ones. I don't know. At first, I was a little critical on it. I wore it a few times. It's growing on me, but it's I do want to see it on the ice a little bit more than twice. So I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully, maybe they're still doing the schedule and they're going to wear it a little bit more. It would have been cool to see against the Kings. They wore their reverse retro. That's the little darker one. So the Ducks could have worn it, but I'm not sure what's going on. I hope it's just a scheduling thing right now, and they'll announce more dates when they're going to wear it. Like I said, though, the Ducks would had a perfect opportunity just to bring back the original logo everyone wants, and it would have been good from there, but they went a different direction, and hopefully we get to see at least 4 times this season instead of just the 2 that they have officially scheduled to wear.
Yeah, and it's funny. I guess one little last fan question we'll wrap up the show with. We had on Instagram LK Loss. He said, when do you think the Ducks will ditch the Web D and revert back to the Mighty Ducks logo? I don't think they will anytime soon as far as the primary jerseys. But honestly, they should have done it yesterday, Eddie. And I think we've talked about this on the show already. I mean, we had all those themed jerseys with Wild Wing. We did the black, the orange, the teal, and all that stuff. It ended up being white and whatnot, which was one of the ones, too, that we thought it would be. But I would love for them to bring that jersey or at least that logo back. Whether it's the new colors, the old colors, I don't really care. I would love for that. I think, it would be awesome. Even if they did, the white and the purple type deal from the original ones as the background would be cool. I also kind of like orange and black. Get away from the white jerseys, is my opinion. But if they were able to bring that back, which sadly I don't think it's going to be soon. I think they're still going to keep it as a third. But I would love it, Eddie, and I think most of you out there would agree as well.
Yeah, same here. I don't have a problem with the Web D. I like them. I like those designs. But I'm with you, fans. I want that old school Mighty Ducks jersey. I'm all in favor of ditching that third orange jersey that they wear, or they're supposed to wear. I haven't seen a schedule for that either. But I'm all for ditching that and just going completely. It's a third jersey with the old school Mighty Ducks logo. Like you don't have to do anything. Just have Adidas make it. Use the same color scheme, the same logo. Boom, you have yourself a gem. It'd be Ducks fans would buy that. You'd have different fan bases buying it. Hey, you can transition and do what the Coyotes are doing. They wear those Kachina jerseys as their home, and then go back to their original away Coyotes jerseys, and then for their third, they used to wear their home one, and it works for them. Like, just bring that back. You would definitely increase sales. With this COVID stuff going on, no fans in the arena, you guys not selling $20 beers. Bring a jersey that everybody wants, not just the Anaheim Ducks fan base, but the whole fan base in general. Bring it back. You'll get a ton of sales. I'd buy a few of those jerseys just to have ones I can get it signed and have one I could just wear. It's that easy. I don't know why the Ducks are so inclined not to bring that jersey, that iconic jersey, back, and just kind of hint like that 25th anniversary jersey was great. I loved every part of it. The orange jersey, I'm just kind of so. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's not worse. But just bring back the Mighty Ducks logo as a third, and you have golden. It seems too easy not to do it. I don't know. Like, that gets me frustrated. Like, how the Ducks don't really use what they have and kind of push that. So,
and one other thing I wanted to throw out too, I guess, at the end, since we kind of went on this jersey kick at the end, which we weren't, but we had a user on Instagram. His name, don't know his real name, but his handle is the Mighty Jerseys, and he sent me a nice note today talking about all the Ducks jerseys. That he follows us. and everything that we do. And he said that he remembers when I talked about having all of the Ducks jerseys, basically the Mighty Ducks versions, Anaheim. I even have some custom ones that I had made and a whole bunch of different things. But I thought this was kind of cool that he had the same motivation, and he told me, quote, if Mike can do it, so can I. Basically, talking about the Ducks jerseys, and now he has all of the official jerseys in the franchise as well. And I think that was just very cool. He reached out on Instagram and sent that, and I just appreciate the love, and I mean, if I can inspire people to do something, even if it's so simple as that, something that can help people, I'm just appreciative, and I appreciate all the support from everybody out there in general. Obviously y'all know that the last year was rough with all the stuff going on in my family. I had several family members pass away this last year, and everything is still going full steam forward. I almost thought about stopping doing all of this and everything, and I support the team of people we have. Eddie, of course, we always talk about being brothers and whatnot, and everything that we do. I appreciate all that you do. I appreciate the stuff that George and Thomas put out on their articles, and everybody else too. We have Aaron covers articles as well. Him and Mario, they do a lot of the Twitter stuff. They help out because I can't cover all the games on Twitter. I'm just super busy. I'm not the one that runs all of that. I'm not the person behind everything here. It takes a village, and I just appreciate everybody in general that helps. So it's good to keep on going and doing this, and I like these kind of messages, Eddie. It's just something funny, because I had posted before about those jerseys, not really thinking anything, and for someone to go out there and want to do something similar like that, just something simple, it's kind of a good thing. So I'm happy. I don't know your real name, but the Mighty Jerseys on Instagram.
Yeah, his real name is Jarrett G. There you go. Yeah, he gave me a little shout out too, which I thought was nice. But then he remembered mentioning you, so I reverted back to you because he had that question he asked. But yeah, that's really good. It's a good accomplishment. I did the same thing. I finally got every single Ducks jersey in franchise history. It took me a while. A lot of it was just the financial aspect of it on my end. There's times where I wasn't financially ready to make that investment in the jerseys, but I got a little bit more comfortable at work, and work started picking up where I can make that extra money so I can buy these jerseys. So I was fortunate enough to collect all these jerseys. I mean, yeah, some of them aren't all authentic; they're replicas, but hey, they're still my collection, and I love them. I got a couple custom ones, and I'm in the process of making my own custom one. Ronald's helping me with that. I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I'll let you guys see it when it gets done, but it's something that I've been wanting for a while, and something I think that would look really good in a Ducks kind of jersey. And I'm pretty sure once I post it, you guys will like it too, and you guys will probably want one. So I'll give you the information once that gets made. So I'm looking forward to that. But thank you guys for all the messages, for the support. Everyone on the Ducks and Pucks team, like Mike said, it takes all of us working as a team to get this done. It takes you fans, since this show is all about you and for you, and this podcast and everything we do is geared for you. When you guys write us in, you guys show that love and that appreciation, and you guys tag us when you find news or you ask us questions. It makes this doing this worthwhile. It's not easy. It's just like Mike was saying, his phone's blowing up. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of research. We can't just see information and just throw it out there and not explain or have an explanation or alter our schedule so we can jump on a podcast and give this information to you. It's a lot of work, but it's fun, and it's fans like you, Jared, and other fans that come up and kind of send us messages and love and support. We really appreciate that, and it makes everything worthwhile, and I love it. So I can't thank you guys from the bottom of my heart enough for all the love and support you give us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just got another thing right now that we're going to have another sponsor that's going to be helping us out. So I'll save that because I got to do some more research, but we have someone else that's going to be helping us out. So I appreciate that and all the love and support. And if you want to sponsor, your business or some other organization that let us know, because we've done that before on the show. We have different things. Just send Eddie or I a DM or an email. You can always hit us up at info@DucksNPucks.com. and we'll look into those and work some stuff out. So we're all for that. We're not just about promoting the Ducks, of course. We want to promote local businesses and small businesses, especially those in the Orange County or even the Southern California region, or hell, in the United States. We know there's been a lot of stuff going on. So with that, we'll wrap up the show. We'll be back. I don't know when. Maybe in a week or two. We were going to be back in a little while, and all this stuff unfolded. So we'll see. But stay tuned. And like we said, as always, let's go Ducks.